everyone! Thank you so much for clicking to watch this video. If you are new here, my name is Sandy, and on this channel we talk about all things interior design. At the end of this video, if you like what you found here, then please make sure to give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any more uploads from me. Guys, I just started listening to some interior design podcasts after they were recommended to me by a friend, and I really like them and I wanted to share them with all of you. When I first heard about it, I was like, what? Interior design is so visual. Why would I just listen to it? Don't you need to see it? It doesn't have to be like a TV show or something like that. And that's not the case because I've listened to them and I really like them and I hope you guys like them too. The first podcast I want to talk about is A Well-Designed Business hosted by Luann Niagara. I think that her little bio on her podcast site does a really good job of introducing it. So I'm going to pick up my phone and I'm actually going to read it to you guys because I really love a sentence in here that I'm going to elaborate on. In today's world, being a talented interior designer isn't enough to ensure that you have a profitable, successful business. Design school curricula doesn't always equip you with the business skills to have your interior design business be everything you imagined it would be. A well-designed business is here to fill in the gaps and give you real-life business skills from some of the top interior designers. Your host, Luann Niagara, shares her 35 years of success in the interior design industry, and she finds the most successful guests to share their interior design business practice. I think that sums it up very well. And the sentence in there that I love is that design school does not always equip you with everything you need to run a successful business. Running a business is so different from being in school. Some of you don't want to run a business and you want to work at a firm or work for someone else, and you should still listen to these podcasts that I'm listing anyways, because she interviews a lot of interior designers. Basically every episode is her interviewing someone in the design business. Even if they're like a design blogger and not necessarily have a firm or offer design services, they're still in the design space. And you're learning tips of what these individuals are looking for when they're hiring. So that's kind of giving you an edge. Okay, this is how I should be. This is how my resume should be. This is how I should come off. And that's a really useful information for you guys. So I highly recommend this podcast. I'm going to link all of the podcasts I talk about down below, but give this one a listen. The second podcast I want to talk about is the Sheas Lounge, which I think is such a cute name for a podcast. It is hosted by Nick May, and he's actually not an interior designer. He's just someone who really loves design. Some of you watch my videos and you're not necessarily going to be an interior designer. You're just very curious about the information. And I think that this podcast is a good example of that not every single person who is giving information about the industry or learning about the industry is working directly in the industry. It doesn't have to be like that. I'm actually gonna pick up my phone again and read his little bio. Nick May is not an interior designer, but he knows a thing or two about business. Talent and passion can only get you so far. So what differentiates those that are successful from those who want to be successful? Join Nick as he talks to top designers from across the world to find out who they are, what their design background entails, and how they run their firm. Sit back, relax, grab a glass of Chardonnay, and let's talk the business of interior design. Only grab a glass if you're old enough to grab a glass, okay? What I really enjoyed about his podcast is he goes to a lot of different events. And an episode that I listened to, he was at I think it was like the National Home Stagers Association, which I didn't even know was a thing. And home staging is a category of design. And some of you may be interested in pursuing that as a career. And he goes to just like all these different conventions or fairs or events kind of things, like maybe High Point or maybe the Las Vegas market, and just talks at those events sometimes and interviews other people at those events. And hearing that kind of information is so good to learn because one, you're not always going to be able to go, so it's kind of like being there in your ears a little bit. But similar to Luann's podcast, he will interview lots of guests. They learn about their business, they talk about design, and it's just fun. So this is another one that is good to listen to. The final podcast I want to talk about is Business of Design, hosted by Kimberly Selden. I'm going to pick up my phone as usual and read her little thing and then give you guys my take on it. It says, Business of Design is a coaching community for independent interior design professionals, decorators, stagers, stylists, architects, and landscape designers. Join to gain access to more than 100 design management courses. Change happens now. What's a little different about this podcast is that its intention is for you to learn. It's like a coaching podcast. Whereas on the other podcasts, they just interview design professionals, talk about their business, and you just kind of learn through listening. This is formatted specifically to teach you, which I really, really enjoy. For example, an episode that I listened to recently was time tracking versus value-based fees. So this is going over flat fees versus hourly fees. So how do you charge as a designer? That might be a question some of you have. Are people only making their money in the difference that they charge retail and trade prices? Are they making their money hourly? Is it a day rate? Is it a flat fee? Is it a retainer? Like how do you charge if you want to go into business for yourself? And if you're working for someone else, you're most likely on salary and that might not be as big an issue. But this coaching podcast really dives into all those nitty-gritty details that you might be curious about, especially if you're starting your own business and you're just like, I don't know. Okay. Especially if you're starting your own business and you're like, I have no idea what to do, start listening to these podcasts because they are such a good starting point. That sums up today's video, you guys. I will link everything down below, all the ones I'm talking about. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope it was quicker than all of my other videos. They're always so long. And don't forget to hit that like button if you liked it and hit that subscribe button if you want to see more videos from me. Next week's video is going to start my vocabulary videos. You guys have been asking me for them in the comments. I'm so excited that you guys want to learn about it because I thought it would seem a little like boring, but I've gotten a lot of comments and DMs from you guys, so those are coming up. And while you're sitting there, all right, on Tuesday night, hopefully when this video first came out and you're watching it, comment if you're the first person to watch. I love knowing who the first person is. Do not forget to watch some more videos over here. There's probably a suggestion somewhere down there, okay? You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. My channel is so close to 5,000. You guys are awesome. And don't forget to put a ring on it, like I always say. And if you don't know what that means, then watch another video.